Hello everyone, here we want to talk about the Excel files that helps you to manage your employees timesheet, and also you can use this Excel file for calculating your employees payments and calculate how much to pay to each employee you have. So in the first sheet you can see it's a control panel that enable you to access the forms that are included in this Excel file, also the tables that and maintain the data of the Excel. Also, you can get some backup from the tables by using this button and remove the data, for example, the data of the previous years or the data that you don't need them right now, and you can remove that by using these buttons. Okay. So there's a lot of forms here that each of them enable you to manage exactly the timesheet of your employee. For example, in the first button you can see interest and exit form that enable you to enter the data of the employee's income and employee's time coming, that enables you to enter the data of your employees at the time of they coming into your organization and the time of they exit from your company. And the mission or leave form that enables you to enter the data for the employees that get leave and want to go to holiday or have to go to mission or something like that. And in this form you can enter the personal information of your employees, for example the name and the ID card and something like that. And also you can enter the organizational holiday, for example Christmas and something like that, by using this form, and also using this form for calculating the wage and the payment for each employee. These are the tables that maintain the data you have entered previously in the forms. The data will go and sit on this table, and you can manage this table by your hand as well. So we want to see each of these form right now. At the first, let's see the entrance and exit form. If you click on this, you will reference it to the entrance and exit form, and here you can enter the data of your employee when he come and when he get exit from your company. Also, before we can use this form, you need to specify your employee's information by using the personal information form. So you can go to the control panel and use the personal information button to reference it into this form. And here you can say what is the personnel you're hiring right now. Okay, first of all, you have to enter the personal ID number, which should be unique for each employee, and the name of the employee, family name, the middle name if he has or not, and the ID number is the ID number of the person in the country, or the passport number. You can exclude whatever is not needed information. For example, the passport number, you don't need them, so you can make it empty, or you can change it to something else. For example, the passport number can be changed to phone number. We have phone number here, but for example mobile number or something like that. And you have to remember the personal number, name, family name, and the ID number should not be changed. Okay, just other things you can change them, and the blood type, because it's a data validation, you can change that, but you have to change the data validation as well. You have to remember that if this Excel file has no any password, so you are free to use the codes and use or develop this Excel file. Just you cannot sell this Excel file to other person because it's licensed by the diaco.co.uk. But you can develop it as you need. If you see some forms that have any password, it's just for data validation, for protecting you to do not enter the invalid data, and you can use the link the www.diaco.co.uk as a password if it's needed somewhere, but the codes or something like that do not have any passwords. Okay, so the job type, you can specify the person job type. For example, is it a full-time worker, part-time, it's hired person, or it's just a project base, you hired this person for just one project, or it's end of the work, it's not working anymore for you, it's end of that employees for me, for example. And if you specify the job type, for example, in the hourly person, you have to specify the type of the wage. It should be hourly. It's just formula, you don't need to change that. Or for the full-time, you pay them monthly, or for part-time as well, you pay them monthly, but as the project base, you don't pay them based on the month or the year. It's just based on the project. When the project is end, you pay them. And if you specify the part-time person, you can specify the start date of the person working. For example, today is 25 of 11/2018, and you don't need to enter the end date because the person is right now working for us. But if you specify the end work, you can come here and say what was the end time. Okay, and as a part-time. Okay, after that you need to specify the wage rate. If it's a monthly person, you have to specify the wage of the monthly. For example, the payment each month you pay to that person. For example, $2,500. If you need to change the dollar to something, for example, pound or euro, you can come here to the numbers and the currency and change that dollar to something you want. For example, pound or dollar or something, Russian currency or something like that. Okay, so after you specify the wage rate, which should be noticed, if it's a part-time or the full-time person, it should be based on the month, or if it's based on the hourly person, it should be based on the each hour you paid. For example, $10, $20, or whatever. And the overtime work rate is the time that you want to pay that person after the organization or company time is ended. For example, if it's an hourly person, you don't need to have specified the overtime work because the hour person can work anytime he wants or she wants to do that, in the midnight, in the day, whatever. It's just based on the hours. But if you specify the full-time person, the full-time person will work based on your organizational time. And after the company time ended, if person works, you need to pay the overtime payment for that person. For example, this person is part-time, and after you specify the type of the work information, you need to come to say what is this person time sheets. For example, if this person works Monday until Saturday, 8 a.m. start time and 4 p.m. is the end time, you need to specify that. But if he or she didn't work in the Saturday time, you need to uncheck that and delete these times for specify that this person is not working on Saturdays. And if you already submit that person, for example, you can see in the, if you go back in the personal information table, if we go there, we can see there is already 2 person, Armin and Arash, and this is their worksheet time, work schedule, Armin and Arash. If you remember that Arash is working right now at the Saturdays. Saturday enter time is 8 a.m. and Saturday exit time is 4:30 p.m. and right now I want to change that to, where is that, the phone? Okay, I want to change that to the Saturday to not working time. So I uncheck this and I make this one as empty, and after that I just need to update the info. After you see the done notification, if you get back and go to the personal information table, sorry, the work schedule, and you can see the Saturday entrance and exit time for Arash is non-working right now, and he is not working. This is the organizational time for Arash. We assume that you have the ability to specify the time work for each person as he needed. For example, Armin say that I work full time for you, but I come at the 9 a.m. to the 6 p.m. And Arash said that I work part-time for you, but I come 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. example. So these are the difference in the time sheet, but you have the ability to specify different timesheet for different people. But in the most companies, most people come at the exact time, for example 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. or something like that. You can specify that for all person, but you have the ability to change for some people you want. Okay, after you specify the time schedule, you are already can go to the entrance and exit form to specify the timesheet when the people come and exit in the specified date. For example, today is 25/11 and it's the Sunday. Okay, the Sunday is a non-working time for persons. If you submit the entrance and exit time for Armin, you have to pay him as the overtime rate. So because it's for his schedule, if you go to the work schedule for Army, let me see, work schedule. Okay, the Army will not work at the Sundays. If you enter the data of the Armin as a Sunday, today for example, if he work on the Sunday, if you specify that Armin Keshavarzi on the Sunday, enter the company at the 9 a.m. or exited at the 8 p.m., you have pay Armin as a overtime working. So you have to note that. For example, it's Monday right now and it's a 26th of 11 on the Monday, you have to specify that. And Armin Keshavarzi, you have to specify the personal number, comes at 9 a.m. and exited as 6 p.m. So you have to enter the data and just submit the entrance. If you submit the entrance, the 9 a.m. for Armin Keshavarzi right now is submitted. If you get back to the control panel and if you go to entrance and exit table, you can see Armin Keshavarzi entered as a 9 a.m. submitted on the Monday 26/11, but it's not right now exit time, it's different. So if you go to the entrance and exit form, you can specify, for example, Armin is exited at 7 p.m. and submit the exit. And if you go to the entrance and exit table, you can see it's submitted right now, and it's noted that Armin arrival is 9 and exit is 19. It's 7 p.m. So what about Arash? Arash is personal ID is 1002. So if you enter the personal ID, the data of Arash is coming here, and you can see Arash Keshavarzi, and for example, he comes at 8 a.m. You can submit the entrance, and he goes out as 5 p.m. Okay, so you can submit the exit. You have to note that Arash schedule is 4:30 p.m. So if he exited as a 5 p.m., you have 30-minute overtime work. And for Armin, he comes at 7. He exited at 7 p.m. So its scheduled time is 6 p.m. So 1 hour is overtime. So 1 hour overtime. So you have to pay him as an overtime work. But if your company has no overtime work, you can submit at where is that? Let me go back to here. If your company has no overtime work, you just need to enter the 0 right here, because it's calculated based on this data in the wage calculation. So I update the info for Arash as a 0 overtime work because he's a part-time. And if we come back to the entrance and exit time, you can now, for example, you want to edit the data of your some employees that you enter the wrong data. For example, for Armin Keshavarzi, sorry, wrong ID number. For Armin Keshavarzi, you entered the wrong data. We had entered the 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. But you remember that, oh, it's a wrong number. Armin work until 8 p.m. for example. Now you want to edit that. For doing so, you don't have any edit button. First, you need to have to remove this data, this day data. And after you remove that, you will see there is no data for Armin Keshavarzi right now here. And after that, you need to enter again, submit the entrance and submit the exit time. And if you go here, you will see the Armin Keshavarzi is added again and is until 8 p.m. So this is how you can edit the wrong data you have entered previously. So this is the main form. You will use it every day for entering the data of your personal time, incoming time, and the exit time. And the other forms is much easy. For example, in the mission and leave form, for example, Armin Keshavarzi come here and said, okay, I want to have leave off time, a daily off time for example 27, the day 27, and it's not the hourly, it's a daily. So I have to specify, I don't need to specify the start time and the end time. I just need to say, for example, it's until 28 and it's a start on 27 and it's ended until 28. And if I submit, that, I can go to see in the mission and leave table. I will see Armin Keshavarzi daily leave and choose the day of the mission. Why is it choose? Oh, sorry, we didn't choose the day of the mission, so I need to remove that previous day and I need to edit that. For example, it's 27, tomorrow is Monday and it's the Tuesday. Armin want to leave the Tuesday, have off on Tuesday, so I have to submit it again. And if I go to the mission on holiday and leave, I can see Armin day leave Tuesday. It's not a time, it's a daily, so on the 27 until 28. Okay, so for example, Arash come, I want to have an off time, hourly off time, hourly leave on 27. So I don't need to specify the end date, due date. I just need to say what day was that. It's for example Monday. Sorry, it's a Tuesday. The start time, I want to leave the company and on the, for example, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. one hour leave. So I can have the note here. For example, Arash leave the company and submit that. After done, I can come to the mission and leave table, and I can see Arash Keshavarzi has the hourly leave on the Tuesday 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. For example, this one right now, Armin Keshavarzi has a 2-day leave. I want to have 1-day leave. And if I come to the, let's go to the control panel, and the missional leave, sorry, missional leave form. I go to the table, missional leave form here. For example, Arash want to have a leave on the 29, which is the Wednesday, Thursday, and just need to 1-day leave, not 2-day. For 1-day leave, it's a daily, for example, it's a daily mission, it's not the leave, and he has the 1-day mission, so it's sorted as 20, the day 20, and it's the end as a 29. Sorry, it's started as this day morning and ended as this day evening. So it's just 1-day daily mission, and we can submit that. And if we go to the mission and leave table, we can see it just started and ended in 1 day. Choose the day of the mission. For example, we forget to choose the mission again. We can change that by your hand here. It's just a table. You don't need to go to the form and remove this data and add it again. You just need to say Thursday here. Okay, and it's changed as you need. So for editing, you can use table as well. It's just Excel. You can do whatever you want on Excel. There is no any restriction here. Or you can go to the form and change it by here, remove and change it again. For example, I can change it and choose the Thursday and remove the previous data and submit it again. So this is the missional leave form. You can specify the daily mission, hourly leave, and daily leave for off times. And the other thing, we see the personal information. The other thing I want to show you is the organizational holiday. For example, the Christmas country holidays. You just need to come here and specify the day. For example, previous day was the Thanksgiving. It's a 24/11/28, which was I guess it was the Friday, or it's a Saturday, I don't know. For example, Saturday, Thanksgiving. If it's and submit the data. You can see the data is entered here. You have to remember that when you have the holidays, it's recommended that you enter the holidays near to that day. For example, the Thanksgiving, because it just calculates the wages for the person that for the employees that you hire already hired. If you, for example, come here and enter the data for the next year, for example 2019, it's the next year, and want to submit that, you can submit that. But if in this year you hire someone, that holiday will not be calculated for that person in the wage calculation. So it's recommended that you enter that near the holidays. Okay. And for example, for the Saturday and Sundays, which is the off time for every companies and every persons, it's calculated based on the personal information form schedule. So if it's off for those people, Saturday and Sunday, you don't need to enter the holiday of the Thanksgiving for the Saturday because it's already off time in the company. But for example, if it was the Wednesday, you need to specify that because Wednesday is a working time for my people. For example, Friday and 23, and it's Black Friday, for example, and I want to my organization be off in that day, for example, and you need to submit that. This will be calculated on the wage calculation, but this one, my people in the organization already Saturday is off time, it's a weekend, so we don't need to specify that. I just need to delete it. For example, here I can do that by this one, or I can come, I can just remove it. It's easy peasy. If you remove it by your hand, you need to, okay, do this. You see the organization holiday form, and the last form I want to show you is a wage calculation. For example, I want to remove already data here. I want to calculate the month 11 wage payment for each person. I just need to come here and specify the month and press the calculate wages, and it will calculate the amount you have to pay for each person in the month 11. Here you can see Armin Keshavarzi, which is the full-time person employee, and the hourly rate payments for dollar is here. It's calculated based on his organizational time, but he's the full-time. It's calculated based on the calculation of the Excel, and the organizational work time is 198 hours, and the total hours he presented right now in the organization for that month is 11 hours, because we don't enter too much data for these persons, but he has to work 1 hour and 98 hours, but he just worked for 11 hours. Total leave time is 36 hours because he had 2 days off, and in the mission is 1 hour and half minutes, 1 hour and half minutes, half hour, but sorry, 1 hour and half hours total missions, and the total holiday hours is 80 hours, and the total wage I have to pay that person is $840. It's really easy to work. It's a huge Excel, actually. It's a big Excel, but it will be very handy for people in the company that don't want to pay softwares, big softwares for managing their person. Just for small companies, have some around 10 people working for them, 20 people working for them. You can really use this Excel file for managing their time, and you can calculate their wage and payments as well. So I highly recommend that if you're running a small company, below that 100 person, under the 100 person companies can really use this Excel file very easily and very handful. And it's very handful. Thanks for listening to me. I wish this Excel file helped you a lot. See you later and goodbye.